Hey, everybody. This is Chris.
And Kathy.
We wanted to take a minute to thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate every listener and are grateful for this platform.
Please help us share our vision by subscribing to our show through your favorite streaming app. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Petability Podcast.
Check out our ever-growing list of affiliates and sponsors. Simply go to the show notes for information and links.
And be sure to use our promo code PETPOD22, that's PETPOD22, on checkout to receive your discount from our affiliates. And now, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Alon Landa, CEO of MedcoVet, and I'm a proud sponsor of Petability. We decided to partner with Chris and Kathy because, like them, we want to empower all pet owners who are trying to do the most for their pets. At MedcoVet, we specialize in advanced home laser therapy for pets. Laser therapy is a safe and effective treatment for common conditions like arthritis and wounds, and it relieves pain for most conditions caused by inflammation. With MedcoVet, pet owners can perform this treatment at home while receiving support from experienced clinicians. If you think your pet would benefit from healing at home, visit medcovet.com, and one of our clinical experts will work with you to determine if home laser therapy is the right fit for you and your pet. Tell them Petability sent you.
Reiki is the ability to harness healing energy and give it to a recipient for their highest good and well-being.
Welcome to Petability. I'm your host, Kathy Simons, certified veterinary technician, certified canine rehabilitation practitioner, and certified hospice and palliative care technician for pets.
And I'm your host, Chris Cranston, licensed physical therapist and small animal physical rehabilitationist.
Our podcast provides interviews and information to help your pets live their best lives.
Hey, Kathy.
Good afternoon, Chris. What do you got going on over there?
Well, I'm trying to sound chipper in my greeting. As you know, I had surgery exactly 2 weeks ago today. Had a right total knee replacement. And I'll tell you, it ain't no joke. So, yeah, I had my recheck yesterday. I am on track or ahead of schedule, which is fantastic. But the psycho-emotional component is killing me. And I am just, it's such an effort to take a shower, eat, move across the room. So I must say, every time something like this happens to me, I have newfound empathy for our pets and what they're going through. You know, I think about all those dogs with those TPLOs. That is a major orthopedic surgery, very similar to my total knee. So, I mean, your poor pets can't talk to us and they can't complain like I'm doing every 30 minutes. So just have some compassion, I guess, out there for all the pets in the world that may be undergoing a procedure, a surgery, or unplanned trauma. You know, they can't communicate as readily with us, but if you listen to them, maybe they are communicating.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think there's a whole aspect to the recovery for animals and people that's like this whole psychosocial aspect of it. And we did a whole show on this with Lori Chamberlain about keeping your dog engaged after a surgery because of that. They need that mental stimulation, right? And I think that weighs heavy a little bit on them. And Mac had surgery and I had to keep him quiet for 7 days. I cried every day because I couldn't explain it to him. I cried every day.
Yeah.
So,
and
anyway,
you know, you're talking about like, you know, her aspect, and she had a border collie who does agility and all of that. And that mental stimulation is great. For me, I'm just at the stage where a distraction is helpful. You know, if I'm focused on watching a program on Netflix, it takes my mind away from my knee or my tummy upset or whatever it may be, you know. So in the early stages, it can just be that, you know, or simple, you know, just gentle touch, right? And you know, and then you're not thinking about the other things. So
yeah. Okay. Here's what we got going on today, Chris, because I'm very excited about this because we are welcoming back to the show our friend Samantha Hankey from Healing with Sam. And we spoke with Sam back in November of 2022 about therapeutic massage for animals. So I'm excited to have her back. And for me, I love this. I love talking with Sam because one of my favorite aspects of my job actually is this hands-on body work. Like nothing beats being able to put your hands on a patient and feel what they feel like, feel what their muscles feel like, feel what their body feels like. And I think we talked about this before because Sam is actually Mac's massage therapist. That's because he doesn't believe I'm qualified to treat him, which is honestly on par with Mac. But in all honesty, I love the relationship that she has with them and how she built this foundation of trust. So she's also done some Reiki with Mac. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, Chris.
I love it, love it, love it. And, I also don't trust my partner to massage me. There's something, when you have a close relationship with someone that there's just a little bit of distrust. So I got you, Mac.
Reiki, I guess we would say is, and Sam will enlighten us a little bit more, is a form of energy healing. And I think the word Reiki translates to universal life energy. And I believe the practice is based on the idea that energy flows through and around all living things. And I find it particularly interesting when you're treating animals with Reiki, right? Because I think they can be incredibly sensitive to energy and their surroundings, and they may respond to Reiki very differently than people do. Some animals may become very relaxed, and while others simply maybe just choose to be near the practitioner and receive the energy in their own way. So Reiki can be offered without physically touching the animal, which is very interesting to me. So we'll be talking to Sam today about Reiki and how it can support animals and what Reiki sessions look like, and how energy healing may help animals with not only with relaxation, but their emotional well-being and their overall balance. So we're going to explore Sam's journey into this work and what inspired her to bring Reiki to our four-legged companions. And whether you're a pet parent or an animal lover or simply curious about alternative approaches to support animal wellness, I think this is going to be an interesting conversation. So let me give you a little background on our friend Sam. Sam is a certified veterinary nurse with over a decade of experience in alternative medicine. She's a certified small animal massage practitioner and Reiki Master. She's also trained in acupressure, tuina, and cranial sacral work for animals. Sam studied at Mount Ida College Veterinary Technician Program, where she received her Bachelor's of Science, and shortly after passed the board exams to become a certified veterinary nurse. While in school, Sam also trained to become a Reiki Master, to have both an education in veterinary science and the metaphysical. It is Sam's firm belief that everyone and everything is made up of energy, and Reiki gives us the ability to harness that healing energy and give it to the recipient for their highest good and release what no longer serves them. So please welcome to the show our friend and, more importantly, Mac's massage therapist, Sam Hankey.
Welcome back, Samuel.
Thank you so much for having me back, guys.
All right, let's jump in. The $1 million question. Sam Hankey, what exactly is Reiki as you would describe it to a pet parent?
So my usual spiel is that, similar to what's written on my website, that everyone and everything is made of energy, even though we cannot physically see it. Reiki is the ability to harness some of that energy or healing energy and give it to a recipient for their highest good and well-being.
Would you say that you're more like the conduit for this universal energy to go through you?
Yes. So when you go through your Reiki training, you go through what they call attunements, where they attune you to the Reiki energy so that it can easily find you and flow through you as a conduit or practitioner.
And you said Reiki training, Sam. Can anybody be trained to do Reiki, or is it something that's a little bit more innate in certain individuals? Because I know you have a very interesting background ever since you were a very, very young child.
So everyone has the ability to do this. I like to think of it like it's like a muscle in your body that you have to practice and work at and make stronger and become more attuned to. But anyone can become certified as a Reiki practitioner. And there's all kinds of energy work all over the world. Reiki is just Japanese in origin, which is what I am formally trained in.
And it seems like the most common because that's really the only one I've heard of.
Yes, I do feel like that is also the most accepted term for energy work at the moment. So you will see Reiki like all over the place right now.
They offer it everywhere. You go to the massage place, they offer it. You go to daycare, they offer it. It's offered to so many people and animals.
Which I love.
So, Sam, remember when we first met and you were an intern at Mount Ida and getting, working through your internships for your degree as a veterinary nurse? And it wasn't commonplace then. That was,
Yeah.
when did I have Flow Dog? I had it 2009 to 18. So it was somewhere in there. Do you remember the year?
I think I interned for you in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we can get a little bit more into this later, but I agree with you. I am hearing and seeing it all over the place. I had talked to many, many pet parents on a regular basis, and oftentimes they'll volunteer. I'm doing some Reiki work with my pet. So, somehow they've gotten attuned, if you will, and they're using it in their personal life. I mean, it's not a professional thing for them, but realizing the value and, helping with the overall care and well-being of their pet that they're responsible for. So it is exciting.
What do you think and this would be, of course, be subjective because we can't actually speak for the animals, but what do you think the animals are experiencing as you're using your body as a conduit to deliver this universal energy to them? What do you think they're experiencing?
So I think that humans rely more on the five senses instead of reading energy. So like looking at someone's body and like feeling like what they're feeling and picking up on what might be going on. And animals, I think, use that every day. Like I think that they can feel when someone is having a tough day, a great day, if they're feeling stressed out. So I think when they come in for Reiki or they get a Reiki session, they are already so in tuned and open to energy that they look at it as this calming, healing, positive energy that they're like ready to take in. And usually when someone receives Reiki, it feels like heat or kind of like tingling throughout the body, but it should overall feel like a nice, calming, peaceful energy to help them relax and feel peaceful within their body.
So you think they're able to receive it well? Do you think animals are able to give it as well?
I do, yes. I mean, the most common one I hear, and I think both dogs and cats and all animals are energetically intuitive, but the most common story I hear is like the cat that will crawl up on someone's chest when they're having a hard time. And I believe that that is the cat sending their pet parent energy to help them feel better.
I had this cat recently that I inherited. He's actually passed, a little orange boy. And if you have cats, you know how little orange boys can be very special. And that was his role. He actually went to work with me, and it was his job to console clients. And he would sit with them, and he would sit right over their chest, just like you said, but he would also take his paw and put it on your hand and pull it closer, which I thought was amazing. I was like, how is he so intuitive that he'll bring your hand in closer to him? And there was just something really different about him that you could tell, like when you met him, he was just on a different level, maybe.
Yeah, an old soul.
Also, it's just a different level. But his intuition was amazing and heartwarming. Yeah, it was a special, special guy.
That is so cool. I love that.
So, Sam, you mentioned that they're receptive. How does the pet communicate to you if they're comfortable and you can keep going, or maybe they've had enough? Because I know, like, even doing physical therapy, not direct energy work, that's very important to be able to read that, right? Like when enough is enough. What happens for you?
So, usually, when an animal is done receiving energy work, they will get up and shift their body or move about the room. Sometimes it's just a quick adjustment, like they'll just need to like turn over or move to a different spot and then they'll continue to receive it. Other times they'll really move away from me and kind of and keep standing and let me know that they're done. Also, depending on what the strength of Reiki they want, some will move closer to me. I love when I can do hands-on work, but that's not always possible, which is okay because you are able to beam it from them distantly.
So I'd like to just share a couple things just based on my recent experience with my niece. I have two Cavaliers, as listeners may or may not know, but Julep and I are pretty connected, and she'll read me and I can tell, when she trying to support me or what have you. But shortly after my surgery, she gets sick. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the last thing we need. And I'm like, is this, empathy or what? Because I was vomiting,
Right.
diarrhea. My partner doesn't know what to do because I'm the dog person. And so now she's taking care of both of us. Anyway, so that passed. And then Baxter, who is very, I'll say, too in tune for his own good, he could not get close enough to me. I go to bed and he squishes himself between my pillow and the nightstand and is going to like fall through the crevice. He's laying in places like on my head and things that he's never done before.
I think it's more like they feel a big shift in your energy when something this extreme happens. So they worry, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like the timeline, like Julep was on it seemingly right away. And then Baxter was kind of keeping his distance, almost like he was uncertain, maybe like what's going on. And if I tried to touch him or approach him, he'd move away from me. And then it shifted. And about a week or more after my surgery, he was just glommed to me. It was weird.
Sam, you mentioned also that you don't actually have to have hands-on to transfer this universal energy. You said we could sort of like beam it in. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So when you perform Reiki or have a Reiki session, you visualize the energy coming through the crown of your head, so your crown chakra, and then flowing through your arms and then coming out of the palms of your hand. So what I do is I send the palms of my hand towards the animal and I envision the energy going towards them, which I know sounds very woo-woo, but again, we're talking about something that we can't see. So it's so they're receiving energy as I'm sending it towards them.
It's interesting. It's not really a manipulation either of the energy, really, right? It's just flowing through you to
Yes.
him, to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And going wherever it serves them the most. So like if the animal has like lumbar pain, it would go towards their lumbar spine. Or if they were feeling sad or anxious, it might go towards their chest to help clear some of that for them. Or their GI if they were having inflammation in there, things like that.
So the energy goes there. And then I know that you will communicate with the pet parent about what you're noticing. So is that part of that training? Like, how do you receive that energy and are able to convey that in a verbal manner?
I've been told multiple things on this. I've been told that Reiki is technically more passive energy. So you shouldn't be able to like feel shifts and movement within the energy. So what I'm doing, I feel like is Reiki, but someone told me they think it's like biokinetic energy, which is when you move, when you're able to kind of move and feel energy moving. For example, if a dog has a very tight lumbar area and I'm sending energy there, I will feel like tense, stiff, hot energy, usually because that means there's inflammation or maybe lack of energy with lack of circulation. But as I'm working, I will feel that energy start to break up and I will feel some relief. So I will tell the owner what I'm feeling. Also through Reiki, I've figured out that I could get thoughts, feelings, images from the animals while I was working on them. So they will also give me feedback to how they're feeling. I also am always watching their body language, kind of like what you were talking about earlier. Like, are they yawning? Are they letting out a big breath and sighing? Is their body relaxing more? Are they shifting? There's so many different things that I'm looking for. And I use all of those things all of the time to let the owner know what is happening.
And then you interpret that because so there is, and I don't want to say this is good or bad, but there is some subjectivity in the way that like you get these images or you get these feelings of hotness or whatever, and then you interpret that for the owner into layman's terms so that they may understand what's going on with their pet.
Yeah, and then I think it's also really important to follow up after an appointment and ask the owner what they're observing, like in the everyday to-day life, to see if those observations were accurate for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do you prevent things like if you're treating a patient for back pain, how do you prevent that from transferring to you? How do you protect yourself? Like, are you going to take on that back pain now?
So that does happen in energy work, but it's just important to do what they called shielding yourself before an appointment. So that just means doing like a quick, like 30-second meditation, like just imagining like a white or golden kind of bubble around you so that it doesn't come back into your energetic field.
Interesting.
Some people will call in like spirit guides if they work with spirit guides. There's all kinds of different ways to call in like protection, but you want to just do a quick little protective, I guess,
Grounding sort
grounding
of,
practice before you start. Yeah. Also, staging is so important. So, like before and after sessions, like clearing your energy also prevents that energy from coming into your energetic field.
Or maybe even the next appointment. You do work with people and pets doing Reiki. So I think, that's really interesting too. I mean, we're focusing on pets here, but maybe this is a time to do a little bit of, compare and contrast. You talked earlier about people seeing the world through their five senses and animals being more attuned energetically. What else do you notice between the two species?
I would say that humans have more of a bias and like more of an ego. So they tend to like when they get onto my table, they'll be like, I'm not feeling anything. I'm not feeling anything. But if they just like relaxed for a moment, they would realize that something is happening. It's just on a very subtle level. And I think that animals just have the much more of an ability to be very present in the moment and just feel what they're feeling without questioning it. And obviously as humans, we live a much busier life, right? Like we have like cell phones and text messages and jobs and, driving and all kinds of things that are coming at us constantly. And animals have less of that. So I feel like they tend to be more aware and pull it in faster than a human does.
maybe we have more baggage. Yeah.
For sure.
Mac has zero baggage. Zero.
I want to piggyback on that. Does it typically take a longer session, more sessions to have a breakthrough energetically with a person than it does a pet?
So human sessions are an hour and animal sessions are 30 minutes. And human sessions are an hour because I love to give people the time to really unwind and take a moment to take time like out of their lives just to settle into their body and let the energy really flow through them. Animals are like ready to go. And by the end of the 30 minutes, they're usually like, okay, I'm done. I'm full. I don't want any more. So that is the reason that I don't offer longer Reiki sessions for animals because usually they are way overcooked by the time.
Sam, what role do you think the animal's personality plays in the treatment process? Because, when I'm thinking about Mac getting his treatment, Mac will like go right to the verge of almost completely relaxing, and then he has to get up, shake it off, and come back to you. And I think that's just his nature, right? I think that's just his personality. But how does that animal's personality play in?
So I always love to let animals move however they want to move during a session, as long as everyone is safe, obviously. Like Mac, I would say, like he needed like more clearing last time I saw him. So getting up and shaking it off tells me that we're moving the energy, and the energy that he no longer needs is coming to the surface. So he felt the need to shake it off more frequently and then come back for more.
Is there ever a bias, I guess, in the sense that, let's say you're seeing a pet for the first time, and this golden retriever comes bounding in, and they jump up on you, and they're checking everything out and running around, and then you have like a timid little chihuahua in the owner's arms, and it's trembling and so forth. Is there any sort of prediction by you and how the session's going to go, or does it surprise you?
I would say both have happened, but like in the case of the golden retriever you're describing, I would imagine that I would probably be more beaming the energy at them during the session. And then those are usually the cases where the owner will text me a photo after that the dog is like completely conked out afterwards. So it's almost like they absorb the Reiki and then it takes them a second to process. And then once they're home, it shows up more. And the chihuahua, like the shaking chihuahua situation, like I mean, again, I love Reiki because that chihuahua could stay in their owner's arms the entire time and benefit from a session. But I would say that dog is more likely to come and relax after a certain amount of time.
So they both benefit. It's just almost how you administer the Reiki and how it may manifest after.
Yes, and some animals come right in, they lay down, I do all my hands-on work, and they relax and they leave. Other animals are bouncing off the walls the entire time, and then afterwards the owner notices a difference. So everyone is so different, and it looks different, but all of it is good.
Sam, can we talk a little bit about what conditions you're treating with Reiki?
So I would say the number one is probably anxiety. And then also, I do see a lot of appointments for like pain relief. And I mean, that could be like post-surgery, that could be arthritis, that could be, IVDD, or even GI pain. I also see a lot of cancer patients to help give them some pain relief, help increase their appetite, things like that.
You can incorporate this into just about any animal's plan, right? Or therapy plan, or just even in general, right? For relaxation or stress or anxiety, maybe even transitions, they're moving from one home to another,
Yeah.
but also supportive, like end of life care.
Yeah, it pairs well with almost every stage of life or every situation. Reiki can be incorporated, which is why I just love it.
Right. And it can be incorporated with any other modality too that we're doing in therapy. It could be incorporated with massage or, laser or red light therapy can all be incorporated together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sam, at this point in the conversation, I'm going to ask you, because you've been doing this for years now, has there been a particular animal whose response to Reiki really stayed with you that you can share with our audience?
I mean, my favorite thing in general is when someone that is skeptical about this comes in and they say like, oh, they're like never gonna relax. And then all of a sudden the dog will completely relax and they keep talking about how unusual it is. And I know that's like a general answer, but those are some of the most satisfying appointments to me.
I love when that happens too.
Yeah.
Sam, how do you feel Reiki energy work fits into a traditional veterinary care model? How does it support the care of the animal? I know both Kathy and I have shared patients with you, and I find it personally immensely helpful. It's amazing to me how we tend to be on the same page. And through your feedback, Sam, I feel like I become much more attuned as well. Again, kind of listening and feeling and, noting things. And it just always strikes me just how we tend to be on the same page.
That's so nice. I love that. I feel like Reiki can be incorporated to so many things in veterinary medicine. When I was working full time as a veterinary nurse, I mean, I would use it the second that I walked into a room to take an intake, just to signal to the animal that it was a calm environment and that it was okay and that this was going to be as peaceful as possible. I would use it whenever I'd have to do like restraints for blood draws or lab work. I used it when I would do surgeries, when the animal was under anesthesia or when the animal was waking up from anesthesia, to help give them a better wake up from those medicines. I would use it during euthanasia to help animals pass as peacefully as possible and help them have a smooth transition.
And if you're doing this all day, I know you talked about the shield before, but does it become energy depleting for you overall?
So the theory is that if you're attuned to the Reiki energy, you're not actually using your own energy. So you should never feel depleted. And if you do feel depleted, then you should go and either get like reattuned or like review some of your practices.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
I'm wondering, what would you say to maybe the naysayers, or maybe dispel some misconception about Reiki for animals?
I think the biggest misconception is that I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just sitting there putting my hands on the animal or beaming my hands at the animal. But truthfully, there really is energy that is flowing through me going to the animal, even though we cannot physically see it.
What a great tool for enhancing that human animal bond. And that's what it's all about, right? That's the whole thing. It's going to enhance your bond with your patient, or my bond with my patient, or my bond with my dog. So I think this is something that, like you said before, something that people can learn how to do at home. Like I do it sometimes with my dog before he has to have a vet appointment, right? Because he gets a little worked up about that. So before we even get in the car, for that travel-induced anxiety, we'll sit and we'll do a little bit of Reiki before that appointment. So would you encourage people to maybe dip their toe into the Reiki realm?
I love that. And yes, absolutely. It completely strengthens your bond because you're using a whole other sense that with your animal that they already use. I also tell people, if you're not ready to go through a whole Reiki training and attunement, you can just imagine that golden light flowing through your body, and it won't be Reiki, but you will be giving energy to your animal or whatever color feels good to you. I have a client who loved to send aquamarine color to her cat, and I loved that.
It's interesting that she picked aquamarine too. I wonder if they're plugging into each other. Like she's like, I think my cat would like aquamarine, right?
Yeah.
Maybe she picked up something that, the cat's like, and I do like aquamarine. Yeah, it's interesting how connected they are, isn't that? It's great to feel that. And I love, because I'm always interested in the emotional well-being of animals. And I love that this woman sends her cat aquamarine. Like, that's amazing to me. Feels good. Just to hear the story feels good.
Well, speaking of energy, I'm going to shift the energy a little bit. This is one of my favorite stories. Back in, what'd you say, 2014, when you were my intern, at that point, you were kind of hiding your special skills. You were helping to do physical rehabilitation, primarily with dogs in my clinic. And, Sam would be assisting. And in this, this particular visit with this older yellow lab named Ripley, and you did this motion with your hand, with your finger, over the abdominal area of Ripley in the shape of what I would call like a labyrinth. I noted it, but I didn't say anything at the time. But the pet owner was describing during the session that she was concerned because Ripley had not had a bowel movement in what was it, Sam? 5 days or something?
It was a long time.
It was a long time. And, what am I going to do as a physical therapist? I'm like, oh, okay, and I go about my business. But Sam, hearing this, does this symbol, and Deb literally called, I don't know, later that day or the next day and said that Ripley had a bowel movement. And I'm like, Sam, what did you do? Can you describe that?
So as Chris was saying, I was chatting with the owner and she was saying that poor Ripley was so constipated. So I asked her if I could do some Reiki and a Reiki symbol, because there are symbols in Reiki which some people use more than others to enhance different things. This particular one, if you draw it in reverse, helps with constipation. So that's what I was drawing on Ripley's stomach.
You got her to poop. Good job.
The owner was thrilled. Sam, you were so reticent to tell me. I would say on the verge of embarrassment. And then, but what did I do? I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Please do it with all the animals. And so then you had that license, I guess, to not have to do it, in some subversive manner. That is when our relationship was forged in the energy and physical realm.
Over the poop. You guys bonded over the
Bonded
poop.
over poop.
Yeah.
Oh, it all goes back to the basics, doesn't it?
I tell you, as a veterinary technician, I spend a lot of my time waiting for somebody's animal to poop. Like, it's a lot. And then I get a text, she pooped.
Yeah. Time you can't get back, but so vital to everyone's.
So vital. But, so Sam, what should someone look for when they're choosing a Reiki practitioner for their pet? What questions should we be asking?
This is always a tough question because I look at looking for a Reiki practitioner like looking for a therapist or like dating someone or sometimes I think it's really like reading someone's website or talking to them on the phone or whatever communication you have with them and feeling if you're drawn to their energy. And if you are like going and having a session with them, but then if it doesn't feel right, don't give up if one session doesn't feel right to you, because it has to be an energetic match between like the animal, the owner, and the practitioner, I would say. So look for a match. And if it doesn't happen the first time, that is totally normal and okay.
I remember when I referred my good friend Fran to you, and I thought, oh, she is not going to believe this is not going to match energetically, but I'm doing it anyway. And you guys hit it off like you wouldn't believe. I mean, this woman seems very, what do I want to say? Not woohoo. Let's put it that way. So I wasn't sure, how it would go. Loved, and had multiple sessions with you, right, Sam?
Oh yeah, we met many, many times. I met 2 of her dogs actually.
Must move into the people realm, right? Once you start treating their animals, that you maybe start treating them as well.
I do. I also start seeing a lot of people, like if I see hospice situations, a lot of people will come and see me after for their own Reiki to help with their grieving, which I love.
And once people have a great experience, then they tend to share, their experience. I know in Fran's case, she gifted a session for her sister. And, I think that's great because, again, the more people that know about the power here, the better.
And Chris, you make such a good point too. Like you were unsure if we were going to be an energetic match, and Fran came and tried to see me anyways, and it worked out so well. Like we were like a great energetic match. So that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like it's almost like dating. Like you need to just try to go put yourself out there, and then you kind of have to meet to see, I would say.
So don't just, what is it, swipe left or something?
Yes.
Yeah. You have to give it a chance.
That's time consuming, but it really is the best way. Yeah.
I agree. Sometimes I think that applies for a lot of things with your animal. If you go to a veterinarian and you feel like you're not compatible or you're not getting what you want or expect, then it's okay to try out somebody else and see if you connect with them. I think that's important.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that they're, a bad practitioner, right?
No,
like it's just,
or a bad person. It's just, it's just not the connection, just like dating.
Yes.
So Sam, as we close this wonderful, wonderful session with you, and I must say, I'm feeling so much better after just speaking with you than I did when we first started talking. So this is amazing. But just briefly tell the story of the picture when you have your hands on was it a dog when you were about 3 years old?
My grandmother had a golden retriever named Zach when I was very little, and I was very bonded to him. And I would sit on the floor with him and move my hands around on him to different spots, and he would just lay there and receive this energy that I was giving. And kids also tend to be so in tune to these things. As we grow up, you're kind of told in school that these things are not real. So that part of your brain shuts off. But my grandmother found these photos and she was like, I'm pretty sure you were raking him.
Yes. Yeah, I think my point there is like, I think some people are born with a gift. I've always said you have an old soul, Sam, and, and other people who are interested in it can learn. So, it's nature, nurture, just like so many things in life.
Many clients call what I'm doing the hover hand, which I don't realize I'm doing. So I'm treating, but I'll have my left hand hovering. And I've been asked this question many times, like, what is up with your hover hand? And I'm like, I don't know. It just does something.
Yes. So your hands will just start to do the energy work, even if you don't realize it. And it's usually, when that happens, it's usually the same hand. I don't know if that happens.
It's my left hand. I have clients who have sent me pictures like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, that left hand is on its own. I have no.
You're feeling their energy and giving them energy, which I love.
They call it the hover hand. That's what they call it. Hover hand. But
I just want to emphasize one more point before we end here. Sam, you mentioned that you don't have to touch the animal, but I think in the context that we've been speaking, it's giving maybe our audience a picture of being in the same room, or the same general facility, whatever you may want to call it. But Fran, who I mentioned earlier, lives an entire state away. You can do this work anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to emphasize that. So, in terms of your business, as we close, we'll want to ask, where folks may be able to reach you, because you could do a remote session with Sam. And you told me, because I asked you, I wanted to know, I'm like, are they equally valuable? And what was your answer?
Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have clients that see me on a regular basis that live in California, Washington, Florida, New Jersey, New York, all over the place. And I think these sessions are just as valuable, and so do the owners. I get really great feedback. I just do it over video because I need a visual of the animal's energy, but then I'm able to make the connection, and it's been really great to offer that.
So do you do it via Zoom and send them a link? Is that how you connect?
Yes.
Got it. And you are where? Where are you located physically?
I'm in Arlington, Massachusetts.
Right. So the eastern part of Massachusetts, about 30 minutes northwest of Boston, but doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Matter. We've done it. Yeah. Well, Sam, as we're closing, could you please let the audience know where can they find you?
They can find me at healingwithsamh.com. They can also find me on Instagram at healingwith_Sam. Those are probably the two best places to find updates on my business.
If you go to Sam's website too, on that homepage, you will be able to find that interview that we did with her on Petability about massage therapy. So it's right there on her website if you're interested in going back and listening to that episode. Well, Sam, thank you so much. I love talking with you. It's so much fun. And I hope we get to see you soon. We're going to be having some free time coming up in the fall. So hopefully we can get out there to see you and get MACA treatment.
Yes, I would love that.
Sam, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So nice. And thank you so much for having me.
You bet.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye, Sam.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our show.
Follow us on social media at Petability Podcast.
And please check out our affiliates and sponsors.
Simply go to the show notes for information and links.
Thank you, and tune in next time.